actors. So this week our lesson and focus is blocking a monologue. For some of you guys, you know what a monologue is, my advanced students. Some of you don't. A monologue, basically, if you've read the lesson and the instructions that I sent out Sunday night, it's basically whenever an actor or character or someone is just talking by themselves. They're making a long speech and there's a reason why they're talking. Either they have to say something very important. There's a reason why they're saying it. Whatever the reason the playwright or the director has written in the script, there is a reason, okay? To make it more simple for you guys, and I know we haven't done solo acting for my beginner students, this is gonna be the simplest and fun way we can do this while telling a story. Okay, now in order to write a monologue, guys, I know it's difficult for some of you guys to think like, I don't know what to write. One way to make it simple, think of a story or an experience that you had in the past that was funny and that made you laugh and made your family laugh, and think of it as you telling that experience or that story to your friends. You guys tell or talk to your friends all the time about things you heard, said, done. Think of it in that terms, the most simplest terms, okay? Or if you can't think of like a funny, cool experience that you experienced as a young kid or even recently, then think about something that you saw that made you laugh, either in a movie or either in real life, okay? Try to stay away from the dramatic scenes or, things that you experienced. Let's save that for another time. Right now, I want you to think of something funny that you experienced, okay? I am gonna demonstrate you guys my monologue. It's a storytelling monologue. It's titled The New Diet. Now, I'm not gonna read all of it because it is about 5.5 pages long and I want you guys to do just a minute monologue. I will tell you this, you don't have to have your whole entire monologue memorized, but at least have most of it memorized, because especially the parts that you have to block, okay? Remember, blocking is just basic movements that the character or the actor does in the scene. And there has to be a reason why you're moving. We talked about that in class, like, why do you feel like you need to get up? Okay, are you trying to get away from the person? Are they just too near you or you feel threatened by them? Why are you going from the chair to the table? Is there something that you need or you want? Like, do you want a glass of water? Find a reason why. When you have that motivation, it really creates the character more interesting for the audience to watch, okay? I will start reading my monologue and I'm gonna show you guys my levels with it too that I'm gonna demonstrate right now. So the title of the story is called The New Diet. I've been watching my eating habits and weight since I was young, all my life basically. Trying new diet trends was nothing new to me. I've always managed to keep my weight off and never really gained weight until maybe my late 20s, when I noticed that it was hard to keep the weight off and to lose it. Metabolism started slowing down. I was desperate at the time. I tried anything or wanted to try anything that I can to shred just a few extra pounds. Recently, the new trend was juicing. If anybody knows juicing, basically juicing is whenever you get fruits and vegetables and you juice them together to make a juice. So recently, when I lived in Corpus Christi in that time, and I say recently, is because I was trying the new juice at that time. They had opened up a new juice shop and I went in there asking the owners about juicing cleanse, and they had talked to me and advised me that I should try juice cleanse. Basically, juice cleanse is whenever you detox the body and drink only nothing but fruits and vegetable juice for at least 5 to 7 days or however long you want to. I decided to give it a try. I bought a juicer to prepare my body for juicing because you can't just start cold turkey. I started my body off slow by doing very light salads, going vegetarian for at least a week, and then slowly I decided to start the juice fast. One day at work, I was working at my middle school at the time in Corpus Christi. This was the second job I had as a theater teacher. I had a very stressful time that day, I remember, because I had started my new juice fast. And then I decided to eat some salads that a staff made. I thought, hey, it's a salad, I can eat that. However, I noticed later on that day after lunch, my stomach was feeling very upset. I thought it was normal, because I usually get upset stomachs. However, I noticed the pain started getting worse, and I know my body, and I know when I'm about to throw up. So it became unbearable. My body started to become fatigued. The nausea became so intense that it was hard to stand. I knew I couldn't teach my 6th period class at the time. I wasn't going to bear teaching. So I instructed my 6th period class that we were going to watch a movie because I was feeling very sick. I was feeling very awful, and I called the office telling them I'm going to have to go to the doctor. So while waiting for a sub to come in, I felt brutal. I felt the need to vomit, but I didn't know how to vomit. I didn't want to vomit in front of my students. While the movie was playing, I decided to do this quickly. I couldn't just leave my students by themselves. So what I did is that I grabbed a trash can, and then I went to the corner and vomit. I'd vomit once, and I thought maybe that's it. But no, it wasn't. Finally, somebody came inside my classroom. I took off, and I was driving on the freeway. I still had about 20 minutes to get to the doctor. I was still feeling very nauseous. I was still feeling the urge to vomit. So what did I do? I stopped the car, I opened the door, and I vomit out of the door. And I closed it. I still kept driving. Did I stop vomiting? No. I was in the middle of the freeway. This is about the 3rd time I had to vomit. I couldn't just stop in the middle of the road on the freeway. There were so many cars driving about 80 miles an hour. So I got a bag. I stopped the car for a second, and I vomited in the bag. Did I let go of the bag and throw it out? No, I did not. So there I am driving on the freeway, a bag full of vomit while I'm driving. Mind you to say, I'm very fatigued. I feel like I'm about to pass out. I am hauling to get to the doctor's office. Finally, I got to the doctor's office. When I opened the door, after I parked first, I opened the door, I just threw the bag of vomit on the floor. In the parking lot, I got up. I went to the doctor. He saw me right away. I was still feeling very nauseous. So when he sat me down, he gave me some medications to help with the vomiting. I still needed help to get back home. I knew I couldn't go back to work, and I knew I couldn't drive by myself. So I called a friend to come and help me. He came, and he had to take me home and drive me home, actually. I left my car there. So when I got back home, the first thought I said to myself, I will never do juice fast again. Second, what am I doing to my body? Third, love yourself. No matter what shape and size you are, love yourself first, especially as a woman. And that is my monologue. So if you saw my 3 levels, first I was standing, that is 1 level. The 2nd level is when I got to my knees to show and demonstrate that I was vomiting in the trash can. And then the 3rd level was when I sat in the chair to demonstrate I was driving. So those are already 3 levels. Now I wanted to add another level. That was whenever I was laying on the doctor's bed, like, you know what I'm talking about, whenever you're in the patient's room and you have to lay on that bed, that's what I mean. So it's hard for me to demonstrate that when I film by myself, guys, but just to show you, like, that's a real life experience I had, and yeah, it's probably embarrassing and very gruesome. I didn't intend to make it funny. I was just expressing, like, this moment in my life where I just couldn't believe I was experiencing. I've never experienced something like that in my life where I just vomit nonstop, but it was a life learning lesson. So that's just basically an example of, how to do a monologue. Now, make sure it's a minute, at least a minute, okay? Do you have to have it completely memorized? No, but you should have most of it memorized, especially the parts that you have to block, because I will tell you this, when you don't have something memorized and you have to move at the same time, it's really hard to remember what you have to do, and it will look and feel kind of funky where it's like, wait, what's the line? Oh, I gotta move over here. Remember, we talked about that in class. Practice, 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 and rehearse. Practice makes perfect, at least close to perfect. Okay, there you go. Thank you.